Liz Flaherty, and I'm an assistant professor of wildlife ecology and habitat management. So I teach the Wildlife Investigational Techniques course, which teaches students all of the methods and techniques they need to know to be a wildlife biologist. Class project, we're live trapping cottontail rabbits. So this allows us to learn how to live trap animals safely and humanely, to set up all of the necessary methods to be able to do that, and then to estimate population numbers at one of our Purdue properties where we're trapping rabbits. So to estimate the number of animals at the site, we need to be able to capture animals, to mark them with a permanent identification method, and we're going to use microchips, which are really similar to the microchips that they use to microchip pets. So it provides each individual rabbit with a unique ID number. And then we re-trap for 5 days so that we can estimate how many animals are there based on how many animals we trap versus how many animals that we trap who we've already caught and that are marked. Trap the rabbits, and if it's a new capture, we've never caught that rabbit before, we insert a little microchip under their skin, and then we release them. And then when we trap the next day, like the second day of trapping, every rabbit that we trap will scan with a pit tag reader or a microchip reader to see if they've already been marked. And if they have been marked, then we know exactly which rabbit it is. And if they haven't been marked, then we mark those new individuals. This is a pit tag that we would inject under the skin, and this is a reader. So when we capture a rabbit after the first day of trapping, we scan them, and then the identification number for the tag comes up on the reader. So we know exactly which rabbit it is, how many days we've trapped it, whether it's moved across our trapping grid or not. So we can ask some pretty interesting questions in landscape use by these marked animals.
For our trapping site, we set up a grid with roughly 66 traps, which included rabbit traps and raccoon traps. And for each, we had about 9 lines, and each line was 50 meters apart, and then between each trap, it was 50 meters apart as well. We recorded information such as whether it was male or female, the body condition, the weight of the animal, and the hind foot length.
So this population of rabbits out of Purdue Wildlife Area is a non-hunted population of cottontails, which is pretty rare in the Midwest. And the professor who was in my position before me, who retired a couple years ago, had been trapping rabbits out there for, I think, about 30 years. So we have 30 years worth of data on this rabbit population. So by continuing this project, we can monitor this rabbit population over the long term. And we haven't actually started doing any of the analysis with the data that's been collected, but it would allow for some pretty interesting questions to be asked about the potential effects of climate change, or changes in season that we've been seeing in Indiana, or changes in landscape use, like changes in agriculture.